Hello everybody, Steve here again at Steve's Garage. Guess who I am? That's right, Steve. Hey, in my part one video, it shut off after, I don't know how long. It wasn't long, 10, 12 minutes or something. And because I found out my phone, I only had 2 gigabytes left because I had so many videos and photos on it. So I had to download all that stuff onto my computer, and I got rid of a bunch of stuff. I just deleted actually a lot of stuff that's already on YouTube, so whatever. It's already out in the air, so I got rid of it. So, where are we now, you ask? In fact, I asked myself that. Where the hell am I? Anyway, we're on brakes part 2. So, in the first video, we showed you how I knocked that cross member out. And afterwards, I can put another piece in here, which I don't think I'll need. I've got so much bracing here already, and we're still going to box in a lot of this frame, especially the rear end. So we're making room. Right now I've got clamped in this system I showed you on the first one, and I've got it so, the brake is in line with the clutch pedal, but it's high. So what I'm going to do is take, and I'm actually going to cut a section out of this and drop it down, 1.5 inches or so, just so the pedal's down lower. I actually may take and cut it here and just angle it down so I still have all that action, you know what I mean? I just have to get this pedal lower, so it's not a big deal. Just cut, drop, re-weld. I say it's not a big deal. It might be a big deal for you, but it's not. And that's what this stuff is all about. When you're building a custom car or hot rod, I don't care what you call it, you've taken something that you've taken apart and you're modifying. Just, changing this over from mechanical brakes to hydraulic brakes, this piece I put in here, I'll have this in and out at least a dozen times because I'm fitting it, placing it, I'm custom cutting parts of it to make it work, and so it works properly and fits with the project. So, and that's the fun part, if you can call it fun. I mean, I think it's fun, and all the other guys that build this stuff, I know they know it's fun, or think it's fun. It's challenging, and it's a sculpture. You're figuring something out. You're making this thing into a semi-modern vehicle, if you want to call it that, because we're putting the hydraulic brakes on, and then actually it'll be safer. Because the mechanical brakes of the old days, these guys were driving, 10, 15 miles an hour. Their streets were, not like they are now. I mean, they didn't build modern highways and all that stuff until the, 50s, So, back when these things were made in the mid-20s, everybody was just acquiring cars. So the towns were like, streets, what the hell? Why do we need streets? We got horses and buggies, and a horse can drag a buggy through the mud. So, when we're doing these things, we're trying to modernize them up into today's specs as close as we can get, but make them safe for our roads. And I'll tell you right now, when you're behind me and I'm driving this, you're not going to wish you're going to wish you were somewhere else, because I'm going to be doing 30 miles an hour. That's the way these things are. This is a cruiser. This isn't a dragster. If it was a dragster, it'd be a whole different animal with roll cages and tons of expensive metal in here for your safety. This is just a Sunday driver every day of the week. And I like to drive that way. I'm not a fast driver, so. I've never gotten a speeding ticket, believe it or not. I only got one ticket in my life, and that was for cutting in front of somebody at a stoplight. So, this is the new brake system, and I've got clamps on here with a couple pieces of wood. Because you have to, make this thing work. There's my pedals. You can see on my clutch pedals down here. This is the brake pedal up here, so I'm going to cut and re-weld and lower that down. That's no problem there. And I also started, because of the brakes, taking apart the old mechanical brakes. So I've taken the back plate off and the hub off, and there's one bearing still. The rear bearing of the hub is an interior bearing that goes in the front here, which is still in the hub. That's interior bearing there. And for almost 100 years old, I mean, everything's in good shape. You know, the bearings I'm sure were replaced at one time or another. But what I'm going to do is take this mounting plate here and use these brakes off the front end that really goes with this rear end. And these are juice brakes here. You can see that goes into the caliper inside. So I'm going to take these hubs off, and you can see on the back, there's the bolts for the mounting plate there. So these kingpins, you know, everything hopefully will fit onto here. And knowing Henry Ford, they didn't change things up in the early cars. Everything kind of retrofit year after year after year. Pretty amazing, really, what they did. You're a smart guy. Well, you know, if you're making cars year after year after year, why make new parts? So when people need parts, they're readily available. And you're not remanufacturing your whole company trying to build this stuff. So here's our brakes. I couldn't be happier. They're in approximately where they're going to go. The one thing I have to check is that we're staying below the frame, which we are, because the body I built will be going on top of that. And so you see when you push down the brakes, you'll see this plunger come out. See that plunger? Do you see the plunger? There it is. All right, so that plunger goes pushes a little piece of steel that's in here, because this mounts up to these bolts, and this is holds your fluid, and the plunger pushes in and pumps fluid out here, which will go into your little quarter line, your little 3/16 brake lines, which I can show you one here. That's a 3/16 inch brake line, which goes into the little caliper in the back there, and it pushes fluid in under high pressure, and it spreads those calipers apart, and then your brake shoes, which are round, spreads those open and pushes the brake shoes against your drum. It's as easy as that. Very simple. Couldn't be any simpler. So we're just modifying this car to now have hydraulic brakes. And so there's still a lot of work to do on the front end here. And we're going to continue with that work. And I can show you on the front here, I'm going to start taking this side apart to match this side. So without further ado, and you know I like to say adieu, we'll get you set up. Where the hell's Earl today? Earl, where the hell are you? Here's Earl today. Earl, now Earl, damn it Earl, you're still wearing your chassis sign. We should have had brake sign today on, but I was in a rush. I was shopping today because it's Friday. Friday. We love Friday. And Friday is Steve Cook's dinner day. So I had to go shopping and buy a bunch of stuff for dinner. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I did the good thing, and now I'm out in the garage having some fun. It's late. It's 3 o'clock already. Days blow by. And so now we will take this. How do you like my mural? I keep adding to it every now and then. And I added to the French Bulldogs. We own a French Bulldog. So I kind of like that theme. So here's the tire. We're going to start taking this thing apart. I'm going to turn some air on, so get ready for noise. No, it's all got all kinds of pressure in it, so it's good to go. I need the other one. I need the other one just like the other one. Hold on. Well, it's heading for St. Patty's Day. You know what they say about St. Patty's Day? They're always after me Lucky Charms. Not that one. Not that one. That one. We will need this one. Get my tools of destruction. You have to take, this is the outer nut here, which holds your hub on. And you got a cotter pin in there. So make sure when you replace your cotter pin, don't put the same cotter pin back in that's 100 years old. Buy a new one, they're cheap. And it's your life that it's all about safety, man. I can never talk too much about safety. I was raised by a guy, my father, oh my God, everything was over tightened and just one of them guys, everything was done to the max. Which, a lot of it rubbed off on me, and it's not a bad thing. Better safe than sorry. Use the best you can use of everything. Don't cheap out. Use hardened bolts when you need a hardened bolt. They're expensive, but I'll see that hub slides right off. There's a bearing in here. I'm not going to pull it out because it's full of grease. And these old hubs, look at that thing. That hub was never turned down. And I don't know if these were replaced or whatever, but there's barely any wear in there. These things are thick as thick can be. They made good steel back then. We talk about pre-war iron. And pre-war iron, when they talk about that, is the fact that when World War II came around, they had metal drives, and everybody threw everything they had in there, and they melted it all down and made new metal to make all the, tanks and ships, everything. So after World War II, all the metal became kind of a little bit polluted. So before World War II, all this iron is really clean. That's why you see these old cars in fields, almost 100 years old, not completely rusted away because it's good iron. The stuff we have today rots away pretty quick. Now, we got to get out 100 years of dust. If you don't like dust, you're in the wrong business. And inside here, I've got more cotter pins. There's little, I can show you. Might be dark in there. Let me get a light. When I was a kid and said, let me get a light, it was for something else. Now, when I say get a light, I mean it. Get a light. Still hard to see, but what the heck am I looking for? You can see right there, there's a cotter pin sticking on that nut, and there's 4 of them, so I got to get all those off before I can take the nuts out. I need you down here to ground level to work with me. Get you in for some live action. All right. Look at that, huh? Huh? Let's hear it for the camera guy. You guys are all right. I don't care what they say about you. Okay. If I can get my head in the way of the camera. How am I doing? Like pulling teeth. What I got left of them anyway. No charge for the comedy. That's free of charge, by the way. Some idiot drove one in here really good. That one is in there. That one is in there. I gotta get a hammer. Are you still with me? Are you falling asleep in there? Out there in TV land? Wow. That one is in there. Rust never sleeps. Go with the old-fashioned way. Smash it off. That thing is rusted in place. What I'm going to do is just going to go for it and probably just take it off with the power raking thing. So I've got to grind off part of that hub because there's no way of getting a socket in there. There you have it. All right, we're going back to some power. Nine 16th wrench. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Good steel. See the shine still inside that? That's 1928. So that bolt is 95 years old, right? And you know what? You could still use that bolt on something, but amazing how well this stuff holds up after all those years. Now, let's try that bottom one. That one's gonna be a bitch. Yeah, that one we'll have to go for later. None of it's easy, man. Got the top one. Ooh, got the bottom one. Almost. Got the bottom. All right. That one's out. That one's out. This last one may be the drag. Oh, yeah. Lucky day, lucky day. I need the persuader. There it is. There's a plunger in here. There it is. This plunger is the actuator, which when you turn this up here, you pull the lever down and it has a cam on it and push this bar down, which spread the brakes. So, let me turn the wind off. That was real time. That went a little easier than I thought. So there you have it. Here's the other side off. And that's that. So, for today, everybody, beautiful day. Gave you 2 videos. This is part number 2. And I will put that on and show you. It's Friday, 10 after 3. My wife gets out early on Fridays, 3:30. So she'll be home in a while, so I gotta start cleaning up so she doesn't see that. Although she absolutely loves what I do and supports it big time, which is great. So Just want to get cleaned up, take the dog out and get her outside to do her thing. So it's Friday afternoon. Everyone have a great weekend. You know, play nice, slow down when you drive, let the other person pass, use your blinkers, and be kind, man. The world's a little crazy right now, so let's all lighten up. All right? Have a great day and a great weekend. Love you all. Peace.